The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome to the Cosmic Disasters Show, everyone. I am Tommy D, and we have a show for you this week. Goodness gracious. But before we dive into that, don't forget we've got our Mandalorian helmet giveaway. That's coming up a little bit later on in the show. Your chance to win your very own custom, one-of-a-kind Mandalorian helmet. But let's go around the room and see who's with us this week. Daddy Louie from the Outer Rim territory of Boston. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've also got Jay Quellen.
Hey there.
Mr. Deacon, who's...
What's cracking? What's good?
Are you watching the show while we're producing the show?
Man, hey. I'm making things happen. We making it happen.
Can you mute it, please?
It's muted.
Okay, thank you.
Every week, Mr. Deacon. That's why we can't have nice things.
Whatever.
Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mr. Chris Fury.
Fellow agents, I am very excited to be here tonight.
And we have a special celebrity guest. The last few weeks, we've had Ryan Reynolds on. We've had some technical difficulties with Ryan. But this week, we've actually got a living, breathing, real celebrity. Miss Emily Swallow, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
All right, Emily, welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, you all know Emily, star of stage and screen. Of course, Castlevainia. Right? Everyone's familiar with Castlevainia. The Mandalorian, obviously. What else do we have? Supernatural. I think you had a little part in Supernatural, didn't you?
Yeah,
just a small role in Supernatural. So do stick around because we've got we'll be taking your questions. If you have any questions for Ms. Emily Swallow, ask her anything. She said nothing is off the table. Spoilers, career-ending gossip, all of it. Whatever you want to ask Emily. It's all on the table.
Anything. I don't know if I'll answer. Go for it.
All right. So that's all coming up. And again, your chance to win the Mandalorian helmet. So stick around. But first, we're going to try something new this week. We say that a lot, don't we? We say we're going to try something new, and then there's always...
I think that's our motto. That's our new motto.
Yeah.
We're going to try something new.
And that's why the show is called the Cosmic Disasters Show. So for those of you that are in the chat, go ahead and start getting those questions ready for Emily. Obviously, be tasteful. I don't think we need to, say that. Tasteful, respectful.
Don't put it out there.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Emily said it. That's it. No holds barred. We're gonna
just called you out, Tom.
We're gonna do the thing. We're gonna do the thing. All right. But first, we're going to do a little thing that we call Nerd or Not. It's a game show that we just invented for this week. Here we go.
Hey.
All right. So, Nerd or Not. You like that?
Oh, yeah.
Snappy.
That was snappy. Snappy and poppy. And so, of course, none of the stuff is working. But that's okay.
I saw the little graphic that you put up
Yeah,
there.
the graphic went, but then
wow.
There's
What's it supposed to...
There's nothing else. There's nothing else there. So that's fine. All right. So let's just
all of our pictures are gone?
No, here we go. No,
now?
I got you.
Cool.
I just failed to push. I pushed the wrong button. What's that?
Wow.
I want to get to the chat, but then I did the thing that Mr. Deacon just did, and you can hear my...
See, that's love. That's love.
Mute your phone.
I'm just trying to make you feel supported. I think I figured it out though, because I turned down the volume, guys.
That'll do it.
Amazing.
That'll do it. So on Nerd or Not, we're gonna go ahead and show you some photos. You're not gonna be able to see the photos here on the panel, but if you're playing at home, you'll be able to see the photos of actors who Emily has worked with, and we're going to try to figure out, are these individuals nerds or not? All right, is everybody ready? I feel like there should be some music.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's some little music.
Ready.
All right,
Sure.
first up, the king of smolder himself, Mr. David Boreanaz. So, Jake Wellen, David Boreanaz, nerd or not?
not.
Not?
I don't know. Am I supposed to like give context? I don't know. I
No?
don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to go first. He's not a nerd. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Daddy Louie, David Boreanaz, nerd or not?
So, you know, I was next door neighbors to David early in.
Wow, you're sticking with that, huh? Okay.
No, I don't. No, I don't think he's nerdy. I see him as the type of person who goes hunting for like bears and stuff. Like,
With his bare hands, maybe.
with his bare hands, right? He just. No, I don't think he's very nerdy.
All right. All right. Emily, you're keeping track of this, right?
Oh. What am I keeping track of?
That was 2 for not.
All right, 2.
Guys,
David,
is there a
2.
tally for me, huh?
2 for not. 2 for not. All right. Chris Fury, David Boreanaz, nerd or not?
I'd say nerd. I'd say if you've been on a show like Buffy as long as he was and then did Angel, that there's got to be some level of him going into something in the geek culture to learn more about. So I think nerd.
Okay. All right. All right. Mr. Deacon.
I'm going to say a resounding yes.
Yes. So he is.
Yes.
Hi.
All right. So he is. So we've got
What
what?
happened there?
2 yeses.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Yeses and 2 no's.
2 and 2.
2 and 2. Just like
2
Love
and 2.
Connection.
I think you're the
Blurry.
tiebreaker then, Tommy.
Oh man.
Make it so.
You know, I feel like David is a man's man, and he might get into some stuff. He might dabble in geekery, but I don't think he's like hardcore nerd. Like I don't think he's got like
surface level nerd.
sure. Like I think he has an appreciation and a respect, but I don't know if he's got like, you know, a bunch of like angel pops at his house. Like I don't think he's collecting action figures of himself. I mean, he might.
To each other.
Right? Yeah, exactly. He's not right. He's not
The scenes with the pop dolls.
right. I mean.
Whatever.
I mean, that's, yeah, of course not. All right, so
So
Emily.
you're saying he doesn't have a puppet angel at his house? Is that what you're saying?
That would be a fun YouTube show, though, right?
It would
Like,
be.
It would.
David Boreanaz playing with Pops. Are you kidding? That would get millions and millions of views. Without question, that would get millions of views. All right, so Emily.
So
David.
now I just decide.
But no, where are we at? Like, you tell us, is he a nerd or not? You know the guy, we don't.
Have you seen nerdy traits from this man?
I feel like nerd like bounces off his chiseled chest.
All right. So David Boreanaz is not nerd.
I would agree with what you said, Tommy, that he probably has a studied appreciation of it. But
Yeah.
I don't think he. But I want to know why you guys said yes so fervently.
Go ahead,
Well-
answer, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, see, like, you know,
He's on a
watching.
show about Navy SEALs, so there's
Yeah.
not.
But he was also on a show about vampires, so I would figure
True,
like, okay,
true.
he's, you know, he wouldn't have turned down the role of like, hey, we're gonna do a spinoff of this
Wait.
vampire that you're so popular with, and he's like, okay, why not? You know,
All right.
gotta have some level of.
Yeah.
You
All right,
know,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
dip his toe in the pool somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he does. I don't know if David's not a dipper. I feel like David he either does shit or he doesn't do shit. I don't think he's a toe dipper. I mean, I don't
I
know.
heard that.
All right, so moving on.
Next.
Jensen. Good old Jensen Ackles. Nerd or not? So Louis, we'll start with you this time. Of course, Dean Winchester. He is the Prince of Smolder. If David is the king, Jensen is definitely the prince.
yeah.
He is the heir apparent.
You know, I think that I think that he is very much a nerd. I think that he
Wow.
yeah,
very
he's
much.
got the smolder and stuff, but you know, to play Dean, that character who is kind of the comic relief of Supernatural for a lot of the show for 14 seasons, I don't know. Like I just feel like
15 seasons.
15.
15 seasons.
The
Yeah.
team.
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the 15th
yeah,
season.
I'm gonna go with nerd.
All right. So we've got one for nerd. All right. Jake Wellen.
I think I'm gonna go nerdy with this one too, because doesn't he like dress up as superheroes or something?
He does. He dresses up as a Red Hood, as far as I know. Maybe others.
Yeah.
So he's a
Who knows what he
cosplayer,
dresses
yeah.
up as behind closed doors?
Oh, geez.
So, no.
So you're saying yes? So that's two yeses, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Mr. Deacon. What are you thinking?
You know, let's let it be known, if you do have nerdy type hobbies, that you are still a man. We're not going to question anybody's manliness here.
Well, of course.
Right, so I'm going to say,
Never questioned it.
I'm going to say yes again. If you could do something with Scooby-Doo, you got a little bit, just a little bit of nerd in you. I'm just saying. You know, I could be wrong or right. He might have a bunch of Powerpuff Girls in the closet. I don't know, but I'm going to roll with that.
Yikes.
What is
I'm just saying.
happening?
What?
Just saying.
I don't know what.
Why in the closet? I don't.
Why would he have?
Why has he got him in the
I
closet?
got toys in the closet. You see me come out with Captain America and stuff. I'm 40-something years old. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody got a little bit of kid in them. So, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Moving on. Chris Fury. let's just move on.
Jensen Ackles, I will say he's a nerd. I will say he's a nerd because yes, he did dress as Red Hood as Halloween. He voiced Red Hood in Under the Red Hood, the animated movie. He nerds out on the show. He obviously has some level. Either that's really good acting or he just has that level of nerd in him. I say yes.
Gotcha. All right. So far it's a sweep. I guess down to me, huh? Yeah, I'm thinking he's got a little geek in him. He's you know, a little nerdy. I think he loves what he does. And I think that if anything, he is a geek. He's a nerd for the craft. He clearly loves the fans. He loves what he does. So, yeah, I'm thinking Jensen's a nerd.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So Emily,
He's like a nerd in like Ken doll's body.
Yes.
He has
Perfect.
Yes, I was right.
this fascinating combination of like, you know, he has the swagger and he has the confidence and he pulls that off without any doubt at all. But there's also this beautiful humility that he has where he's game for anything. He's so, I mean, you've seen all the things that he's pulled out, and I gotta agree, like to be kind of the comic relief on the show and to be willing to do all that. Yeah, I think he's loving the nerd.
I agree. I agree.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So
Not to be on a show that's you know, based on not graphic novel, comic book. What was The Boys?
The Boys was a graphic novel.
Yeah, it was comic.
That was a
Comic and
comic.
a graphic novel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I agree. I think, you know, Mr. Deacon, like what you said, I mean, the fact that they did a Scooby-Doo episode, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
Still one of the best episodes.
There's
One of the
nothing
best.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, he's super cool.
Nobody said there was.
No, come on.
Calm yourself, Mr. Deacon.
I'm good though. But as soon as I said somebody was like, "No, he's super macho," y'all was hating on me. I was like, "Okay, then."
All right.
I know
So,
what it is.
That
Excuse me.
said he was super nacho. I just said super nacho.
He's super nacho. That's
That I'd like to see.
I
Me
might give everybody nerd tonight. I don't know. We'll
all right. So, next up, we've got Pedro. Of course, he is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. He has done a lot of work over the years, a whole lot of work over the years. And now he is very much king of the Star Wars nerds. But is Pedro a nerd? Daddy Louie.
I don't think that he was a nerd prior to being on The Mandalorian. And I know that he did like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but yeah, no, he seems very pretty. Like he's very pretty. I see him more as like I don't know, like he reminds me of like a Gomez Adams. You know what I mean? Very sophisticated and very
Okay.
into the beautiful woman, and
Okay, but
carries
he's an
around
actor.
carries around a rose all the time. And he's always in a suit, and even when he's in his pajamas, he's got like the little what is that thing that Gomez wears, like when he's in his
There's the smoking jacket. He's got his
An
ascot.
an
Yeah.
ascot. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. He just seems he seems very ascot-y and not very nerdy. Maybe that's changed since becoming on the Mandalorian, but I'm gonna say overall no, he's not a nerd.
All right. Jake Wellen.
See, I was gonna go nerd for him. Like yes, he is pretty, and like his character on Game of Thrones was very charismatic, and got his eyes poked out and all whatever. But
Well, there is that. Yeah.
I think he's an actor, and I think that he takes on these roles and acts how he needs to. But I think at home he's like playing D&D and video games, and maybe he is playing with the pops and making the scenes and stuff. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I could see Pedro. Like, how fun would that be if Pedro was just like super nerd? I don't know.
All right, Mr. Deacon.
All right, this time I'm gonna say no, because I feel like Pedro exudes. He's got the swag about him, and it's a masculine type swag, and I don't think he does that. He's like the guy that's underneath the hood, fixing the car, fixing your carburetor type guy.
Nothing not manly about being a nerd.
Right. There's a theme. There's a theme with Mr.
There's a theme going on
Deacon.
here.
It was my opinion. I'm just saying.
I feel like
just say
Mr.
no.
Deacon
I
has
think
got
he's not.
some stuff going on. There's something else in the closet that's not Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know.
I told you I got Captain America in here. I told you that.
All right.
You know.
So you're saying no. So you're saying that is a no.
I would say no.
All right. Emily, once again, thank you very much for joining us this week. I don't know why you agreed to this, but thank you very much. I don't know if it was your agent. You're like, yeah, go ahead. Go on that show. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Well, your
People to
experience.
keep you company in that Airbnb.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right.
What else are you doing?
Chris Fury. Pedro. Nerd or not?
I'm going to say nerd. Game of Thrones, The Kingsman, Maxwell Lord from Wonder Woman 1984. Now, Star Wars, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
He might be a little more deeper into the nerd lore now than he was before, but I'll say nerd.
All right.
He's like Carl Urban.
Yes. Carl Urban's another one. He transcends. I'm gonna have to say, no. I don't think that. I don't think that Pedro is a nerd necessarily. As far as like the classic definition of a nerd, I don't think that he's got collectibles and. I think he's got some. I'm pretty sure that he's got some stuff, but again, I just think that he loves the projects that he works on, and he's such a good actor. He nails. He's not exhibited a poor performance that I've seen yet. So, I mean, the guy is on top of everything he does. But again, I feel like he's kind of on that same level as David. He's just kind of too cool for school, I think, But I don't know. Emily.
A hard one, because he is there. It feels like everything is so easy for him.
Yeah.
I feel like he can do anything, but he also like has this real goofiness and like such a love for what he does. That's not like, yeah, this is cool, I like to do this. He's like, he gets giddy about it. And when he found out John wanted him in The Mandalorian, he first thought like, oh, I'm gonna play, I don't remember what exactly he said, but he had no idea he was gonna be like the Mandalorian. He would have been happy to be any little side part. So.
Oh, then he's a nerd.
Like he's his own like special class of like nerdo suave or something.
Nerdo suave.
That's great.
That's a new phrase there.
But we're gonna have to use that again.
Yeah,
That's a
maybe
t-shirt.
Nerdo suave.
I don't know.
Nerdos.
That's a t-shirt. Nerdo Suave.
Yep, I'm writing it down.
Write that down. That's a t-shirt. And you know what? We'll say it. We'll put it out here right now. Emily, we're going to make a t-shirt out of that. We're going to put it on the website, circleofnerds.com/merch. Let's go ahead and we'll just plug that. Why not?
Nerdo Suave.
Nerdo Suave. And 100% of the proceeds will go to Emily's charity of choice. So, so whatever charity that you like to support, Emily, let us know. And we'll get that t-shirt up on the website, and 100% of the proceeds will go to the charity of choice. There you go. Just like that.
Happening.
Just like that.
Okay.
All right.
We
So,
do good things.
so we've got,
Right,
so
we
that's
tried.
what? That was what, 3? That was 4? No, that was 3.
David.
That was-
Jason, and-
that was
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, that was 3.
It was 3.
So
Yep.
next is the young Winchester brother, Jared. So, you know, he's the cutie. He's the teen idol. He's got his own kind of smolder. He's kind of grown into the smolder, but he's just that young, that young cutie heartthrob type. Nerd
Seen on the Gilmore Girls.
or not? Daddy Louie.
I don't think that you could ever know. I don't know. He seems shy and reserved to me. Like he wouldn't put on display if he's a nerd or not. Like he's hard to read, you know what I mean? Because he's very reserved and very quiet. So you would never know. So it's an impossible question to answer because we'll never know.
Okay, so that is we'll say that's one undecided. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
take it.
All right, sure. Jake Wellen.
It's really funny because I was actually going to say kind of the same thing. He seems kind of like he would be the introverted, he's got long hair and he seems like he's just like in his room in his feelings reading poetry and playing a guitar and crying. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't think that's nerdy. I don't think he's nerdy, but I don't know, he does seem more
Sensitive.
introverted
Okay.
than, I don't know.
I don't picture him hanging out in his room playing guitar, crying. I don't.
No?
No, I don't get that vibe. I
Not
mean, I could be
emo?
wrong.
I don't know where I got this from.
I
but
could be.
no.
All right. All right. So what are you saying? So no, is that a no?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Not nerdy.
All right.
He's sensitive.
All right. All right. Here. God, Mr. Deacon, what do you
Not that
think?
the two are mutually exclusive.
Why do you say it like that?
Oh, shit. Mr. Deacon.
God.
Here we
Come on,
go.
man.
Here we go.
all
Let
right,
me
I'm
just
like,
here. Let me just preemptively give you booze.
Wow.
Wow. I'm gonna get a bus bar knife and cut you with it.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
man. I'm gonna get
Violence.
you. Now it's all
Calm
good.
it down.
Good. I'm gonna say, where are all these children, good-looking guys? It's crazy. I'm just gonna say no. I don't really know that much about dude. I've seen, so I'm just gonna say no. He just doesn't. I don't get that vibe from him.
Okay.
So, that's all I can say.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Chris Fury.
I'll actually say no. I'm siding with Louis on this one because he does strike me as very smolder-ish, teen idol-ish, somewhere in that realm, Yeah.
You guys understand he's not a teenager anymore, though, right?
Right. Yeah. He's like.
Teenage girls doesn't care about that.
He's like 58 years old, and he's,
Like he's on Gilmore Girls, and then he's on a lot of the teenage angst type shows.
All right.
Angsty, that's a good word.
All right.
Angsty.
Angsty, yeah.
Very angsty.
I'm gonna have to go with no as well on this. But something's nagging him. I feel like I'm totally wrong. But he does seem like he's got that, funny, fun, goofy, don't take things too seriously, because on Supernatural, I don't imagine you can take anything super seriously other than the process, but the show is just, it's so out there sometimes. You got to have a good sense of humor, and the writing is so good, so you've got to have that good sense of humor for it. So I think he's got a great sense of humor, I would imagine, but as far as being, maybe he's more dorky than nerdy, maybe? I don't know.
That's about right.
Maybe. All right. What's that?
What's the difference between dorky and nerdy?
I don't
I
know.
was gonna ask the same question.
I don't know. What's the difference between
more goofy?
Clarifying.
There's
A little more,
there's
little more
dorky,
goofy.
nerdy, and geeky. So I don't.
Wow.
There's nerds, geeks, and dorks. I think they all do different things. So I don't know. Or you're all of them.
I'm a dork.
I don't know. You're
I don't know
adorkable.
why, but I am.
You're adorkable. I think that's your that's the phrase.
Oh,
The
Lord.
phrase for you, adorkable.
What is dork that is not nerd?
Nerd
For
is
me,
cool.
my
Good question,
perspective.
Emily. Good question.
No, from my perspective, I think nerds are very intelligent and they know a lot about the thing that they love. I think dorky people we kind of dabble in the nerdy stuff, but we're really just goofy and kind of lame and
So
Like,
So-
socially awkward.
so
and
dorks
I
are a little
just
more
don't know things.
If you're a dork,
Yeah, I'm a nerd poster.
a nerd pop.
nerd posture.
Nerd
Write that one down. Nerd
Yeah,
posture.
yeah.
I think nowadays, though, I think the terminology is interchangeable. I think if you're a nerd, you're a
Yeah.
geek. If you're a geek, you're a dork. I think that it's just all these days. It's just interchangeable, and it's whatever. But I think
So
nerd.
what's a geek? What's a geek?
I think it's interchangeable, or it can be interchangeable. I think you can. I think.
no. See, all right, you're backpedaling again because just a few minutes ago you said they were three different things.
They are three different
And now
things,
you're like,
but they're three different things. But they're also interchangeable. So you can be a geek. It's like sparkling white wine and champagne, right? So sparkling white wine, champagne is champagne because it comes from Champagne, France, right? Stay with me on this. Sparkling white wine will not ever be champagne if it's not from Champagne, France. I have no idea where I'm going with this.
What does this have to do with anything?
No, I have nothing. I have
All right,
nothing.
this is my take.
So
on
geek,
it,
dork,
okay?
nerd. Okay.
Geek, dork, nerd. We got totally off topic here.
That never happened.
A dork.
Answer this.
So we need.
Right.
Oh, and Tamara in the chat just said, "What about dweebs?" I think dweebs is. I feel
Oh,
like
man.
I don't know. I don't like. I don't like.
She trying to complicate shit.
no. I think dweebs has a negative connotation to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Dweeb is more
Dweeb.
more derogatory.
I believe
Oh
so.
my gosh.
So I would say that a dork is somebody who's goofy and silly, like Jackie said.
Yeah.
I think that a nerd is somebody not necessarily related to pop culture, but somebody who is extremely passionate about a certain subject. Like you can be a car nerd, you can be a computer nerd. So not only do you love the thing, but you love it so much that you talk about it, you read about it, you tweet about it. Like it's like a more of a, I don't want to say obsession, but you know where I'm going with that.
Okay.
I think that's a nerd. And then I think a geek is somebody who's more like techie, more book smart, more like, that's where I think geek comes in. So that's my take on the three things.
All right. One of the people in the chat, Anthony, he said geeks are fans of a subject, nerds are practitioners of. So that's pretty good.
Good explanation.
That's
actually.
pretty good.
Anthony's a nerd.
Anthony's a nerd. Yeah, he is. So, all right. So Emily,
We love you,
Jared.
Anthony.
I'm kind of fascinated by your guys' answers. 'Cause I admittedly did not have. I don't remember what my my impression of Jared and Jensen was before I met them. I didn't have a big awareness of supernatural, and so I don't remember how they presented. But Jared is not shy and introverted in any way. He is loud.
Wow,
And
really?
he,
Yeah.
I mean, talk about playing jokes on set and just totally destroying a scene to do something funny, and it's always worth it.
It's amazing.
So he's definitely a dork, but now that we've broken this down, I don't, I was gonna say, yeah, he's absolutely a nerd, and now I'm like, maybe he's
a goof.
55% dork and 45% nerd.
That's
I don't
an
know.
acceptable mix.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
you're all completely off.
So maybe we just change the name of the game, geek, dork, or nerd. I mean, I guess maybe.
Dork or nerd.
Yeah.
Geek dork, okay.
Oh man.
All right. So
Halfway through the game.
we have one final, one last. I didn't think that this was going to run as long as it did.
This went really long.
This went really long.
Good night.
Yeah. And thanks for coming out, everyone. So the last one, Emily Swallow, geek, dork, or nerd?
Ooh.
Daddy Louie.
Are we switching to this now?
Why am I going first all of a sudden? Oh my gosh.
Daddy
No,
Louie.
I've learned tonight, Tommy. I can't trust you.
What? I
That
am
is a
totally.
valid assessment.
You're changing the rules.
I didn't change any rules. The rules still are the same. It just we picked.
Well, this is no longer nerd or not. Are we doing nerd or not? Or are we doing?
Well, I think we broke it down. Emily said that she liked the breakdown, and it's maybe hard to pin down nerd.
Well, she's none of those things.
Well, then she'll let us know, but that's the game. We have to try to figure out, or maybe she just keeps it a mystery and she doesn't tell us. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, Daddy Louie, Emily Swallow.
I don't want to go first.
Geek, dork, or nerd?
I don't want to go first.
Mr. Deacon first.
You were
this
the-
time.
Why don't you
No.
go with Deacon first?
No.
You're the first
didn't know.
person.
No.
You were the first button. You're the first button. So that's just the order we're going in, buddy.
Nerd.
Nerd?
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to say why, or do
Sure.
you just want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
Yeah.
I want her to be a nerd.
Aw.
No other reason
Okay.
other than that's my heart's desire is that she's a nerd like I am.
Okay. All right.
All right.
That got a little creepy, but
Moving
we'll go ahead and move on. Okay. Jake Wellen.
I kind of want to go with Jerry's answer in the chat. He said, "I'm going to call Emily adorkable too."
Aw.
Okay.
What is this like? Who wants to be a millionaire? You just called in a lifeline? What is
Yeah, I just called it a lifeline. No, this is complicated now.
Right. That's why I had originally said nerd or not, because it's like,
Before we went live, I describe myself as a goober, so nothing that you're gonna say is gonna be like, how
Right.
dare you?
Can I just go with that answer? She's a goober.
Goober.
We're gonna add another. Why not?
add another level to it now?
so yeah. I mean, yeah, might as well. Emily, like you said, I mean, I've already changed it up. Might as well keep changing
I
it.
don't know. I say dork. I don't know.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Marcus.
Because that
Oh.
that aligns with goober, I feel like.
Okay.
Tom, did you say something? I can't hear you now. You breaking up. I can't hear you, dude. My what? Huh?
You know what, Mr. Deacon, maybe if you would have studied more in that media school, you'd be able to operate your equipment better.
Whatever.
Then it
No,
wouldn't be
I'm
cutting.
going- I honestly want to refrain from comment. Yeah. No, I really do. Wow. I'm gonna go with nerd.
With
Just gonna
nerd.
roll with nerd.
All right.
Nerd.
All right.
Nerds are very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable.
Yes. Chris Fury.
Unlike the rest of the cast, I have no fear. I'm gonna say nerd. I'm gonna say nerd. And for the record, I dabble in geek and nerd, so I go in both worlds.
I feel like you can kind of cross over.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's why it's complicated.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
There's complications? I dare not say.
And Emily, I'm thinking that you walk in all worlds. You're obviously nerdy because you've got a helmet. You've got a Star Wars prop. I mean, that is super nerdy.
It's so cool.
You've got the geeky side, because you know things. I mean, you know things about things. So you've got you geek out about certain things, I'm sure. And you're dorky because you're doing this show and you're talking mad shit about us while we're sitting here with you. And that's really fun and that's cool. So I'm going to say that you kind of walk the path of all three.
Yeah, it is a way.
Yeah,
This is
that's the way. You walk multiple ways.
This is the way.
All right, so
This is the way.
Emily Swallow.
Yeah, I think I'm nerdy about some things, and then there's some things that I'm just dorky about because I don't have the knowledge, but I still get excited even if I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I like to think I like the geek one. I'm still like, what is geek? Geek
I know.
sounds like something to aspire to because I feel like if you're a geek, you must be really smart about something. So
Yeah, but people say geek out a
you're
lot.
like-
Like if you're excited about something, you geek out. So it's interchangeable. I think you can
So
walk
can we
all over the
just
place.
say- Emily, are you a nerd or not?
We're clarifying it for Jackie.
Yeah, totally.
So she can sleep
ma'am.
tonight.
Totally.
He's a nerd.
All right, so we are quickly running out of time, so we're going to scrap that, but we don't want to scrap the opportunity for our viewers to ask Emily a couple of questions. So, Jackie, were you monitoring? Do we have some good questions for Emily? I know.
got a couple good ones, too.
Yes, there
Okay.
were a couple that
Oh,
I just fell upon a comment that I like. Tamara Burns says, maybe dweeb is when you achieve all three.
oh, that's like a Pokemon evolution.
Yes.
Oh, I like
I've
that.
been enjoying Tamara's comments in here. She's really loving you, like dishing on your co-stars.
Utah has a lot of questions.
Yeah, I really wanted to ask. Yuta asked, how much of the armorer character was written, and what was left up to you? For example, accent, backstory, etc.
That's a good question.
Let's see. The accent came because when they were first casting it, they were originally seeing British women in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got in the room. I'm so glad I did. But
So are we.
Thank you. The casting associate just suggested that I do it a few times with the accent in case they wanted to stick to that. And then John liked that because he said, it didn't have to be like exactly proper, RP British or anything, just something that sort of set her apart and makes her different. And I like that. I was given zero backstory. I think that they were, I'm sure they know all of it, but it's so secretive. There's so much about the show that I don't know. And so little that I learned before I got there. The things that I remember most that helped me shape it were that she was just, when I auditioned for it, she was described as being very Zen-like. So that definitely informed, I felt like she, which I love because in real life, like I am not, I'm like fidgeting all the time. I'm constantly in motion. And she just struck me as someone who didn't need to get anywhere fast and she never needs to raise her voice. She knows that she has the authority. And some of that was informed by John saying that he really envisioned her being part of the, when George Lucas was creating the original movies, there was a lot of inspiration he took from Kurosawa.
Yeah.
And and so John said he felt like she was sort of part of that and like samurai culture, stuff like that. So that informed it a lot. And then it was really just like, once we got on set and we saw, it was so much fun. Those first few, we were doing episodes 1 and 3 at the same time. And all of us who were in Mandalorian armor, we were all like kind of having a crash course with the directors to see like, okay, how does this play? How does all of this work on film? What reads, what doesn't read? And so some of it was just trial and error, and it came out of that. It was one of the more exciting like character building experiences I've had because there were things that informed it from so many different angles. And the armor is definitely a nerd because she knows everything about black.
Yeah, she's probably an armor smithing geek as well, I would imagine. What? I wouldn't question her. I would not give her a label other than the armorer because I've seen what she does with that hammer, and I'm not trying to get on her bad side.
Yeah.
It's like, yikes. Yikes. All right, do we have another question?
Yeah. So Ian Mania, he and his wife are big Supernatural fans. He asked, how was it working with the Winchester boys, and what were your thoughts on the series finale?
Oh, geez. He's trying to get me attacked online if I say anything
No,
good
you're fine.
or bad.
Only like 5 people. It's just our grandmothers who watch this show anyway, so you're fine.
Yeah.
It was, working on Supernatural was one of the most fun experiences I've had. It's and it's a real testament to Jared and Jensen, because you never know when you're going into a show that's been running a long time, like how morale is going to be. You know, everyone's grateful that they have the work, but it's really long hours. And if you don't like the people that you work with, it can get, you know, it can get tense, or it can get kind of stale sometimes. And from day one, I just felt like so much enthusiasm and excitement about like what I had to bring to the table. And there's so much playfulness, and they are just so welcoming to everyone that comes in. And they're so much fun, and they're so creative, and they genuinely love what they do, and they genuinely love the fans. So, I mean, they're just amazing human beings. What are my thoughts about the finale? I mean, I wish that Amara hadn't been absorbed into Chuck. I was like, what? Come on. Or, you know, I felt like if they were going to do that, then they needed to then have like half Amara, half Chuck.
Oh my God, that would have been terrifying.
Wouldn't that be horrifying?
Oh my God.
I liked that. The thing that I really loved about the finale is that it came back just to Sam and Dean and their relationship. And I like that it was really simple. And I know that some of that was simply because of the restrictions from COVID. Like they were originally planning to have like a ton of cameos in the finale, and then they just couldn't, because that was one of the ones we had shot most of season 15 before the pandemic happened. But then the last like 3 episodes, I think that was it. 3 or maybe even 2. They did after the pandemic had been underway. So that's, yeah, I feel like, you know, I could go on at length about, there's so much to try to pack into that finale, but that's what I liked about it. I liked the simplicity.
Yep, and it always comes back to the bromance.
Yep.
It always comes back to that Winchester bromance. My wife started me watching it, and that was
Romance in the car.
and the car. Oh, such a good show. Such a good show. You know what? I think we have time for one more question. I don't know if we have like anything like secret to discuss or anything like that. Emily.
And there it is.
There it is.
The safe word is rules.
Rules.
With a
Safe
Z.
word. Safe word is rules.
With the Z. Damn, she nailed it. Look at that. All right.
Yeah, killed it.
All right. One more question.
Okay.
And then we're going to be jumping over into the inner circle portion of the show. Emily, you're going to be able to join us for that? Or do you need to wrap things up after this?
Yeah, what is it?
You know what? Maybe. So the inner circle portion of the show, and if you wanted to be a part of the inner circle, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/Circle of Nerds, sign up. Got to get that plug in there. And basically what it is something that we do for our Patreon subscribers, something that is exclusive just for them, to show our thanks for their support. I'm down. Okay, cool. All we're talking about for the most part is The Mandalorian. That's it. We usually watch the episode on Fridays, and then we break it down and we deep dive on it, and we nerd out, we geek out, we dork out on The Mandalorian. So, and if you're rolling in, I have a question for you as well. I'll ask you, but you can think about it. I wanted to ask you about the volume. So
The what?
The volume, the big giant digital.
volume.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that, but we'll get to that on the inner circle. But first, let's do one more question for Emily before we take off.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask this one because I'm selfish, because it's related to the question that I had if I had gotten to ask a question, but I'm gonna read somebody else's question, and it kind of ties into something from on our Facebook page too. But
Okay.
Yuda, another question from Yuda, but also pulls in other people's thoughts. Oh, does Emily prefer working in film, TV, or on stage?
Oh.
Good question.
I mean, so much of it truly just depends on the people and the project. But I do think that my first love is theater, because I love the immediacy of it. First of all, I'm such a rehearsal geek. I love rehearsal. I can't get enough rehearsal. I love discovering things like with the other actors and not just having to like do all the work on my own and bring it in. I mean, I still do plenty of work on my own, but then there's something so magical about when you have that time with scenes and with characters and you're not, on the clock to try and shoot it. Things just unfold in a different way. And then night after night, the piece grows in a way that it just never has time to when it's being kind of finalized on camera. And I love that the audience is there. But then that's also one of the reasons that I love conventions so much, because that's where I finally get to like interact with the people who are watching the story and to see how they feel about it and what their take is. And I always like learn things from other people about what I'm involved in and what I'm doing. Yeah. But I do love in theater that the audience is there and like everyone is having the experience at the same time. That's pretty magical.
Yeah, immediate feedback and everything, with applause and laughter and tears and
now Jackie is geeking out.
Yes. I am. This is Jackie geeking out because I was looking at like all of your theater resume and I was like, oh my gosh, you did so much Shakespeare, and I've been to the Guthrie and I was so excited. I love the Guthrie. I saw the Scottish play there many years ago. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Jackie is our theater nerd.
Yeah, I know. And I saw videos of you singing, and my question was like, do you have like a musical theater dream role?
Yes, Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd.
Oh man.
Interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to see that for sure.
Joanna, when I was younger, who's like, for those of you who don't know, she's like the willowy ingenue. Although she's a little bit crazy, so she's not the typical ingenue. There's definitely something wrong in her noggin.
For sure.
Yeah, Mrs. Lovett someday would be super fun.
Outstanding.
Speaking of which, don't you think Pedro would make a good Sweeney?
Yes.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
I never thought about it until just now, but
just now.
Oh, it's casted. Who do we need to talk to? Let's get Pedro's people on the phone. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
We'll make that happen. Who's gonna direct?
Oh. John, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Everything he's touching is gold anyway.
Oh God, like a Star Wars.
To do like 500 things at once. I remember when I was doing, we recorded everything like as we were shooting it in the helmet, but there was some ADR that I had to do after the fact. And I was in New York, and Dave Filoni was on the line in LA, and John was, I think, also in LA, but he was doing like sound mixing for The Lion King at the same time. So we kept having to like jump in and out. That man, he must never sleep.
Yeah. A Star Wars
like
Sweeney Todd.
All the ideas in the world are just like, they all got stuck in his head.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's funny because the first time I think most of us, experienced John was in Swingers. That was the first time that I had really seen him do anything. And then, now he does everything.
The whole chat is geeking out about Star Wars Sweeney Todd, by the way.
All right, so we need to make that happen. However that needs to happen, we need to make that happen in some way.
Yes, please.
Mandalorian musical episode. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what you tell us.
Can you imagine?
I love this.
God, what would happen? Would fans? I'm wondering a Star Wars, a musical episode of The Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, what if it was sort of like the Star Wars Christmas special?
I love the Star Wars Christmas special.
I'm wondering
holiday special.
I'm wondering what fans would do. I'm wondering how fans would react to.
Some people would definitely hate it.
Oh,
and
of
want to
course.
kill it.
Oh, but it would.
But they would watch it over and over and over because they hate it so much, so they could complain. Because that's what you do when you're a Star Wars fan. You hate it so much that you love it, right?
Right.
Or love it so much that you hate it, or something.
You
feel strongly about it no matter what.
Yeah.
Mr. Deacon, you were saying?
Yeah. Now Sweeney Todd, you talking about the barber where he was making pies out to people?
Yep, that's the
Oh
one.
my God! So we got
Demon Barber of Fleet
yeah,
Street.
we got Jawa pies and tweaking pies and stuff. Let's get it.
Oh, you know what?
I'm just making sure. I'm like, wait a minute, Star Wars, we making pies out of people? All right, okay.
So is Grogu gonna be Joanna?
No, he's Tobias.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
It's
Tobias
definitely
is
Toby.
kinda creepy. Grogu's not creepy.
No.
He could be Joanna.
All right, so let's make this happen.
Wow.
We're going to cast it. We need to make this happen. We need to make this
Wow.
happen.
Because we have all the influence.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, of course. I mean, we got Emily Swallow on the show, so we've got some pull. We've got some pull. But Emily, thank you very much for joining us this week. We really appreciate it. This
This
is
was a blast. This was absolutely. I was looking forward to
it was the second time you've been on the show. Hopefully it won't be the last. But I know we're gonna do the inner circle thing. So after that, I don't know. You might run screaming.
Yeah, the
in
first
terror.
time was an interview with you. This time you subjected her to all of us.
Yeah.
So-
This week you were a cast member. You were part of the Circle of Nerds, and it was awesome. It was
Call in.
awesome.
You're an official member now.
There you go.
It
So-
takes a lot. It takes a lot.
And
Do I
folks,
get a little-
don't forget. I'm sorry. What's that? Go ahead.
Do I get a little membership pin?
We don't have. I've got stickers. I can send you some stickers.
I have a pin. I can send you.
Yeah, I have a pin too. And we have a bracelet. Don't we have an extra bracelet?
You
I have
guys-
an extra bracelet.
You guys have Circle of Nerds pins, really?
Like a
Well,
membership.
I have a button. It's not a pin. It's a button. But
We need to
I
make
have
coins.
a pin. I was gonna give it to you for Christmas, but now it belongs to Emily. So
That's fine. That's fine. I don't deserve anything for Christmas anyway. It's fine. We need to make coins. We need to make coins, like challenge coins, and
Oh, challenge
send Emily a
coins, yeah.
challenge coin. That'll be like an official thing.
She's part of Clan of Five now. So.
There you go.
There it is.
Outstanding. So, folks, don't forget the T-shirt. We're going to be doing this special T-shirt sale over on our website, circleofnerds.com/merch. You can check that out, and 100% of those proceeds will be going to a charity of Emily's choice.
Well, I already know which one it'll
Yes,
be.
yes, please.
Yeah, it's the Surfrider Foundation, which I work with a lot. And it's an environmental nonprofit.
Well, there you go. Outstanding. So
Yeah.
we'll get details from you at some point, and we'll make this happen. So that is good stuff. Emily, thank you.
Nerdo Suave.
Nerdo Suave. There you go.
Amazing.
Now, folks, also don't forget this is it. We wrapped up our Mandalorian helmet giveaway
You have
for
the whole
for
piece
the
now.
season. You have all of the clues. All of the clues that you need are now out there in the Nerdyverse. All you got to do is put them together, create the phrase that pays, and then you're going to email your answer to contact@circleofnerds.com. And then of all of the correct answers, we are going to draw one at random, and you will be getting this lovely bucket that, of course, was provided to us by Mr. Kevin Weir over at ImperialSurplus.com. Great guy. He makes some of the best Mandalorian and Clone Trooper armor on planet Earth, bar none. The guy is absolutely amazing. He's always been a big supporter of us, of the show. I own 2 suits of his armor. He's just a great guy all the way around. So ImperialSurplus.com. Please check him out. Now, whoever wins this beautiful bucket, I will be personally painting and weathering and finishing it up for you. So we will get together one-on-one, figure out a paint scheme, color scheme for you. I'll put it all together, and then when you get it in your hot little hands, it will be ready to wear. So that could be the crowning jewel to the beginning of your own Mandalorian cosplay, or just a nice display piece for your house, whatever you want to do with it. But it is courtesy of ImperialSurplus.com, Circle of Nerds, and it goes out to you with our love, of course. So here we go. I need to play this for myself.
Is the never-ending story.
It really is. It really
Play
is.
it on yourself?
I had to play it on myself. I had to do it. All right. So heading out to the inner circle right now, we're going to be discussing the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Emily's coming with us, and we've got a couple more questions for her. So again, if you want to find out what's going on, you know what to do. Circle of Nerds over on patreon.com. So again, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us. Once again, Emily, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course. We're glad we could keep you company in your Airbnb.
Mhm.
I would have, I would have just sat in my room and played the guitar and cried like Jared.
Oh, where's the? There we go. All right. Well said. Well said.
Oh wow.
All right. So that's gonna do it.
So you push it over
I forgot to turn the button off, so it fired off again. I'm sorry. I need a producer. I need someone here to produce. I'm no good at button pushing. All right. So Inner Circle right now. Everyone, thank you for joining us again. Emily, thank you very much for enduring this week. We've got more for you to struggle through on the Inner Circle. So again, everyone, thank you for joining us. And remember, if no one does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself, and we will see you all next week. Bye.